Hello everybody, this is Phoenix Indy, and well, I am here to talk about my Game Jam experience. So recently, there was the GMTK Game Jam that starts every year around like July or so, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to try to join this one. My skills have improved a lot, especially in game development and with Lizargon, and there's visual scripting, which actually allows me to do what I want, because my mind can't think in line code. I am so sorry, but just deal with it. All of Lizargon is programmed with visual scripting, and all my future projects probably will be. I am sorry, haters, but you're gonna have to deal with it. So, pretty much, the theme that was given to us was roll of the dice. And immediately that got my head spinning, and I was thinking, what can I make that is really fast to make, but really fun? Because really, I was looking more to create a game that was fun. I don't want to focus too much on the graphics and stuff, because obviously this is a game jam, you only have 48 hours, but I am someone who loves fun gameplay. If the graphics suck and the gameplay is fun, I will still play the game, because that's really what you're controlling. I mean, the graphics can look absolutely stunning, but if the gameplay is horrible, then the game's horrible. So my first idea was gameplay, and I thought, you know what? A 2D platformer, because those are easy to make, and those are, in my opinion, one of my favorite game genres. And what about a 2D platformer that switches every time, like, the beat of a song hits? Because, well, it's roll of the dice, there could be 6 layers, every single dice roll, it could give you one of 6, and it could switch the layer. So, obviously, that was the idea that I went with. I decided for the mechanics to make something that was easy to control and easy to learn, and pretty easy to master, but that was very versatile. So I decided to go with a simple run and jump, and your character, which is just a square because this is a game jam, I'm not going to try to design any characters. It can run, it can jump, it can do an air jump, and it can do a wall jump. And the wall jump allows you to climb walls and also regains your air jump. Now, the reason why I made the movement mechanics so powerful is because the layer is going to be switching constantly. So you need to be able to react accordingly and be able to like get anywhere you need to get to. If it's just a simple run and jump, or like Mario's mechanics, which are run and jump and wall jump, but you can't climb walls, that would be very unfair, especially for this type of game. So that's what I went with. And for the music, I actually, in my opinion, created a really nice tune. It has a nice melody. It was very simple. It like didn't involve many instruments. The only instruments were like one drum and one, I don't remember what it's called, but whatever that thing is, whatever that noise is. And together they sounded pretty nice. And that was the main theme for what I decided to call Dice Knight. That was the name I decided to put onto my game for the game jam. So, I created the music, I created the player mechanics, and I went to bed because it was really late. The next morning was interesting because I woke up and I immediately got to work. After eating breakfast, of course. Breakfast is more important than anything else. I'm sorry, I cannot work when I'm hangry. So, I continued with making the assets. I decided to create very simple assets of just each side of the die, and that would be different colors depending on the level you were in. So I did the assets first for just every single side of the die, multiple different colors I want to use, and I decided to have 6 levels because, you know, a dice has 6 sides. Wow. Very original idea, but fine. So I continued on, and I created level 1. It was sort of the test level, sort of seeing if my concept would work in an actual full-fledged level. And, I mean, before I could even do that, I had to create the world mechanics. So I created the world mechanics, which would choose a random number between 1 and 6, every single time with the beat, which is 1.8 something seconds, I don't remember, but at every single time of the beat, it will choose a number and switch it. I programmed it so that the number cannot be the same as the previous one, so like you can't have a row of 1s or a row of 2s, just so that the world is constantly switching. Because I wanted this gameplay to be fun and more focused on quick thinking and quick reactions. So I did that, and it worked. After a long hassle, it did work, and it was honestly really fun to play. Level 1 was really fun, the music made it really nice and upbeat, and it was a game that I honestly want to return to in the future, because it is a nice idea, and it could be really fun as a full-fledged game instead of just a game jam. But fine. So I continued on, and Unity crashed, which I think was probably a sign of what was to come. So after the crash, after rebooting the project and all that stuff, I continued on to level 2, which took a lot longer than I expected. One thing that I noticed is that levels with this game took a lot longer, because it wasn't just building a level and done. It was building a level, then building on top of that level, and then on top of it again, and again, and again, and a 6th time. I had to pretty much create the level 6 different times for it to even work. And for the levels, I decided just to, make borders that if you touched, you die, and if you touch spikes, you die, and whenever you die, you just respawn at the beginning. Easy and done. So I created level 2. I decided to go for more of a vertical direction, because I wanted the player to sort of learn, hey, these mechanics are powerful, this gameplay is fun, and I can climb up to anywhere I need to. So, and then I moved on to level 3, which I decided to make sort of a black and green, going along with the music that was a little more techno sounding, I don't know. For the music, I sort of just switched up the drum and the melody instrument for all 6 songs, because I didn't want to make 6 original songs. So it's really just one song with its instruments changed, which did have a great effect. But continuing on, level 3 I made, and I decided there I would try to implement the spikes. It was fun, but the spikes made it really annoying and really tedious, especially since it was switching so constantly. The spikes were just getting on my nerves almost. But I was like, you know what, I'll see how it goes with level 4. I created level 4, and after level 4 I decided to take the spikes out entirely. They were just really annoying. It wasn't fun. It was already hard enough trying to react and trying to get onto a platform safely so you wouldn't fall to your death. So I decided to take out the spikes and just continued on from there. I also created a sort of pointer towards the goal, because I knew I wanted to create bigger levels for the last few. And I created level 5. Now, here's a little context. If you look at the time at the bottom right of the footage, you can see what was going on. I was working and working and working, and I was getting up to a point where I was like, I want to finish this. I want to finish this game. It's such a great idea. It won't win me first place, obviously, but it will at least win me in creativity, or it will be a good game. I want to see it finished for this game jam. And it was sort of also personally avenging my past self, who had tried game jams before and could never succeed, for the very reason that programming sucks and that visual programming is really good for people like me. So I attached myself personally to it. That's what I can say. To the game and to the game jam. It was a game that I was starting to get really passionate about. Not as passionate as Lizargon, because that's been my passion project for a long time, and that's really my true beauty. It looks like nothing right now, but I swear it's my true beauty. But this one, it was avenging my past self. I was like, I gotta finish this game jam. I gotta prove to myself that I can do a game jam, and that I can make games like this that are fun. So I continued on through the entire night. I pulled an all-nighter. I did not sleep that entire night. And you can sort of tell that the fatigue was starting to set in. Level 5 sucked. After that, I made a tutorial which looked horrible, and as time ticked by, I started getting a little more worried and a little more fatigued, but I pressed on. Level 6, I created, but it was past 11 a.m. Now, where I live, the game jam technically ended at 11 a.m., but you had 2 hours to submit it. So I was in the final 2-hour stretch, and I was getting nervous, and I was trying to get through it. I created a main menu, a simple thing where you're like, okay, yeah, you can select to the tutorial, select levels and stuff like that. And that's, I think, where the whole thing started crashing down. The buttons would not work no matter what I did. And I could not I could not figure out the buttons. They just weren't working. They're simple Unity buttons. Why weren't they working? Turns out what had happened was that me trying to clean up a few input things, I deleted the mouse X, mouse Y, mouse inputs, because I was like, you don't need them. I mean, it's just left, right, and jump. Turns out you do need all the inputs that Unity gives you for buttons to work. And me being an absolute idiot didn't figure this out. And of course, Google wouldn't help because it's just like, oh, you need an event system. Oh, make sure the buttons are interactable. They were interactable. There was an event system. It was just that the freaking input was deleted by me trying to clean up the game and make it run faster. So the nightmare I got finally solved, like right at the last little bit, like really close to the final cut deadline. I was like, okay, I finally got the buttons to work. Let's do the final playtest of this game, and let's export it pronto. And let's put it on itch. Let's submit it. Let's finish this once and for all. And I think this is where it finally came crashing down. I think what happened was that my computer was overrun from working all night and not getting a single break. Like, imagine a computer getting fatigued, but I think that's what happened because it just started going bad. There was input lag that was so bad that you could not play the game. It was just glitching out. It was so horrible. And as the clock ticked by, I just started getting more stressed out. I was like, why is this not working? What's going on now? Is it my dumb mistake again of deleting an input thing or what? And the clock ticked by and ticked by and ticked by. At around the 5 minute before the hard deadline mark, I sort of gave up. I realized what was going on, that my computer was just dead pretty much. And I would have to restart the computer to get this to work. But restarting the computer would take a while, and I've never set up an itch page. I've never published a game to itch. Well, I mean, I sort of have, like with the Lizargon betas, but that was like just a beta thing. This is like trying to publish a full game onto an itch page and trying to submit it to a game jam. I've never done this before. And I only have 5 minutes to restart my computer and to publish it and all that stuff. And I just sort of watched the whole thing burn in my face. And the final ticks went by and the game jam ended. I'm stuck here with a project that's really crappy because it was a game jam I was trying to complete as fast as I could, no polish, and with a broken game jam, pretty much. I restarted my computer. It's fine now. The computer is fine. It's alive. But the game jam was completely over. So why am I telling you this? Well, one thing, I want to show that game development is not clean at all. And really, any art is not clean at all. I remember there was somebody in the Discord servers who was like, who gave up earlier and who said that maybe game development wasn't for them. And I was confused because I personally know any creative thing, it doesn't even have to be game development. It can be art, it could be music, anything is going to be messy. So hopefully they continue on making games in the future. Hopefully. I want to see what games they come up with. But that's really one of the main reasons I'm saying it, is because to show how messy it is. And second, I don't want to act like everything's perfect because it is not. So what are my plans now for Dice Knight, this broken game jam game that didn't even make it to the game jam in the end? What I think I'm going to do with it is that it'll probably be a side project. Now, it's a really cool idea, in my opinion. I had the mechanics down. It was the movement mechanics of the player were honestly really fun. They were really quickly made, but they're still pretty clean, in my opinion. So I think what I'm going to do is that I'm going to have it as a side project. Lizargon will be my main focus, obviously, because Lizargon is my passion project. It's the one that's going to make it on the Steam and stuff like that, hopefully. I'm willing to sacrifice $100 for that. But Dice Knight will be sort of my side project. I'll probably go back in, restart from the beginning, just so that I can have a new start to it and make sure that it isn't as broken. And maybe reduce the lag a ton, because the way I program the world to switch is really laggy. But honestly, I think that's more the future for Dice Knight. It's going to be more of a side project. The game jam, I'll see what the results are with tissues in my hand and a tear in my eye. But I think that's what's going to happen. So yeah, if you made it this far, thank you for listening to my little rant. I'm sorry that my game never made it into the game jam, but we'll see how the future holds. Luckily, this didn't happen with Lizargon. Lizargon doesn't have like a deadline or anything. I can publish it when I want with as much time as I need and want. But it's still pretty sad that Dice Knight decided to go to burn. Actually, no, it wasn't even Dice Knight, it was my computer. My computer decided to betray me at the last few minutes. That's what happened. So yeah, thank you for listening for this long. I'll probably not make any more rants like this, but I decided just to rant about it, make a video about it, just inform you guys, hey, this is how my game jam experience went. This is what I'm going to be doing. So Dice Knight is going to stay as a side project, Lizargon as my main project. Don't worry, Dice Knight will not take priority over Lizargon. It honestly can't. I put too much time into Lizargon to have it be sidestepped by a simple game jam game that didn't even make it to the game jam. So that is my plan for now and the future. Goodbye.